Hello, everybody. Welcome into a 6:30 edition of Fox 10 Talks Sports. Flying solo here, Robby Baker on the Fox 10 YouTube and the Fox Local app. Thank you for tuning in here at 3:30, our Fox 10 Talk Sports pregame show with Blake Niemann and myself. We did that earlier today. That expanded to a half hour, so Fridays from 3:30 until 4 o'clock. Blake Niemann and I will be talking all things ASU football, getting you ready for that upcoming game on Saturday. We'll also sprinkle in a little Cardinals as well once they get going in about a week. And then the 6:30 Fox 10 Talk Sports will be a little bit more overarching sports topics, but since this is the I would say it's the opening weekend, but I guess technically last weekend, week 0, was the start of the college football season. But in honor and in celebration of a full weekend of college football here getting going, I figured at 6:30 here for the next 15 minutes or so, we will just kind of go over some of the biggest headlines and storylines from the opening weekend of college football. There are some games going on tonight right now for local interest, if you will. On Fox 10 tonight, Auburn and Baylor is going on right now. Auburn leads Baylor by a touchdown. The Baylor Bears, a team in the Big 12 that made some moves in the transfer portal, building something up there right now in Baylor, and a team that has been picked by some to make a run at the Big 12 championship. Another Big 12 team in action tonight, Colorado. At Colorado in Boulder, taking on Georgia Tech. That game is tied at 10 right now as we head towards halftime there. So 2 Big 12 games going, or 3 technically. Kansas is playing Wagner right now, and in the third quarter, Kansas is up a lot to a little. They're up nearly 30 points right now, as you would expect in that showdown. So some Big 12 games going on right now. When I look across the landscape of college football, also, if you're watching, hop on in the chat here. Let me know what your favorite thing about college football being back is. Do you like, is it the traditions of game day? Do you like just plopping on the couch and watching football for 100 hours on a Saturday? Hop on the chat here and let me know what your favorite thing about college football being back. What is your favorite aspect of that? I think the big thing that stands out to me when you look at the opening weekend of college football is just how many good games there are. I can't remember. I mean, the marquee matchup. Well, first of all, you go back to week 0 last week. You already had the ranked Big 12 showdown between Iowa State and Kansas State, with the Cyclones winning that one and delivering Kansas State their first Big 12 loss of the season already at the beginning of the season. And then when you look at what's coming up tomorrow, I mean, it doesn't get much better than number 1 Texas, number 3 Ohio State, the big noon kickoff game right here on Fox 10. I mean, come on. Right now, Ohio State's a 1.5 point favorite in that one, but to kick off a season with that kind of a showdown, those are not games that you usually see at the beginning of a college football season. That's the type of game you expect to see in a championship at the end of the season in January next year. And the fact that we're getting that week 1 is going to be fantastic. There's some other good ones, too. Clemson's in a ranked showdown tomorrow. Sorry, my laptop kind of froze up on me here. Clemson's got a ranked showdown tomorrow with LSU, the Battle of the Tigers there. Who am I missing here? There's a couple other big ones. Sorry, my laptop's on the fritz here a little bit. But we don't normally see big-time college football showdowns like this early in the season. Usually, and this is no knock on NAU, a very good Lumberjack team ranked nationally at the FCS level, but going up against an Arizona State team tomorrow at Mountain America Stadium, if things go according to plan for the Sun Devils, it should be a lopsided battle. Those are the kind of games you usually see in the first week of a college football season, not these big behemoth showdowns. Penn State, Nevada. Penn State, the second-ranked team in the country right now, a team that a lot of people have picked to potentially win a national championship. You got Alabama, Florida State trying to rebound off of what was a really tough season last year. Clemson, LSU, as I mentioned. Georgia State, Ole Miss. That one could be maybe sneaky good. Georgia State out of the Sun Belt. Virginia Tech, South Carolina, the kind of Beamer Bowl, if you will. If you know the legendary coach there, Shane Beamer of South Carolina, Frank Beamer's son, that'll kind of be a cool little historic battle. Notre Dame, Miami was the other game I was looking for on ABC. That's a Sunday game, but that's another top 10 showdown. to kick off the opening week of the college football season. So no shortage of big games with big implications when it comes to the playoffs. Obviously, things are different now. It's not like it was the old days. I could date myself here. Going back to the old days of the BCS, where you basically had to go undefeated to have a chance to win a national championship, and then the first years of the playoffs when it was 4 teams, and you still pretty much had to go undefeated, maybe 1 loss to get in. Now with 16 teams, you have a little bit more wiggle room to still earn your way into the playoff as an at-large bid, and I think that's maybe why schools are more open to some of the scheduling some of these games, like a Texas Ohio State or a Miami Notre Dame or LSU Clemson, because if you lose that opening game, yes, the pressure is on you as you move forward throughout the season, but it's not a death sentence in terms of trying to ultimately reach your goal of winning a national championship. As I was saying earlier, let me pull up if you're just tuning into the stream here, we're just kind of talking all things college football, just to celebrate college football being back. I've been very lucky in my career to obviously covering Arizona State here. I've been in San Diego, covered San Diego State and the Mountain West, and then before coming back here to Phoenix, I was in Mobile, Alabama, so we got some Sunbelt with South Alabama, but also a 4-hour drive, give or take, to both Alabama, Tuscaloosa, and Auburn, and covering the SEC was an incredible experience for 4 years, the Iron Bowls and the SEC championship games and whatnot. There is something special about college football. I will say it's a blast to cover the Cardinals, to be at State Farm Stadium, to experience an NFL atmosphere, but there is just something a little different when it comes to a college game day, the passion, the pageantry. It's hard to pick which one I like more, if you will. It's like the cliche of asking someone to pick their favorite child. But college game days are a special thing, and it's exciting that it is back, especially in the Valley, because when you talk about sports here in the Phoenix market, perhaps no sport has, I don't think any sport has any more buzz right now than Arizona State football. This Valley is, for lack of a better term, 100% activated right now by Kenny Dillingham in this Sun Devil football team. And you can see that by the fact that the home opener tomorrow is sold out. The first time in over 20 years that the Sun Devils have sold out a home opener for football. That goes to show you how excited this Valley is for football being back. Just update real quick on how the Big 12 is faring tonight. Kansas is going to win their opener against Wagner. Kansas opening up that beautiful renovated stadium out there in Lawrence, so they're on track right now, unless they blow a 30-point lead in the second half to Wagner. They will open the renovated stadium with a win. Baylor looks like they're going to go into half down a touchdown, and Colorado is down to Georgia Tech by a field goal at halftime. So some work to do for the Big 12 here on the opening weekend of college football. Last night, a few teams did get wins in the Big 12. UCF beat Jacksonville State. That was a wild game. Scott Frost back at UCF after a failed stint at Nebraska. UCF was trailing Jacksonville State late in that game, and they scored 2 late touchdowns to get a win. Oklahoma State took care of UT Martin, so the Cowboys, Mike Gundy, they get off to a winning start to their season, and Houston took down Stephen F. Austin. One interesting game yesterday was later. It was played at Arrowhead. Cincinnati in Nebraska. Cincinnati lost by a field goal. Cincinnati, a team that is still trying to kind of find their way in the Big 12 Conference. And the Bearcats gave Nebraska all they could handle, and Cincinnati was driving late in this game. Blake Niemann and I were watching this in the office last night, and Cincinnati was in the red zone, and they threw a pick in the end zone with about 25, 30 seconds left in the game. They were in field goal range. They could have kicked a field goal to tie it and send it to overtime. They went for the win, and it did not work out for them. But I was impressed with Cincinnati last night. Maybe Nebraska is not as good as some people think, or is Cincinnati better than some people give them credit for? It's hard to say with just one game of tape on these teams, but one other interesting Big 12 game from Week 1, I should note, another game you'll be able to watch on Fox 10, Utah and UCLA, some old Pac-12 foes getting back together here and playing a non-conference game, but that'll be kind of cool to see Utah and UCLA going at it again on the gridiron as they did for so many years in the Pac-12. I'm very curious to see early on how the Big 12 fares in these non-conference games. That's kind of why I was going through the games that were going on tonight, because there are some decent games, Georgia Tech, Colorado, Auburn, and Baylor. the Big 12 nationally is just still not getting the respect that of like an SEC or an ACC gets. And look, I get the SEC. It just means more. As I said, I covered the SEC for 4 years in Alabama. It is truly a different animal. The ACC, or excuse me, the Big Ten is the Big Ten's got your big dogs, your Michigans, your Ohio States, your Oregons, USC. Now, I get it. The Big Ten is a different level as well. But the Big 12 to me is up there, and the problem that the Big 12 is gonna face again this year is kind of what the Pac-12 used to face when Arizona State was in that conference. Is I think it's going to cannibalize each other. The gap between I remember talking to Joel Klatt of Fox Sports at Big 12 Media Day in Dallas about a month ago, and Joel was saying the gap between the top team in the Big 12 and the worst team in the Big 12 is it's so narrow. When you look at the best team in the SEC and the worst team in the SEC, you could pencil in, okay, if Alabama's going to play X, Y, or Z, they're probably going to win that game. There's not many games in the Big 12 calendar for any team that you can circle and say, yep, going to win that one. Yep, going to win that one. The balance of power is it can shift on any given weekend, and the talent gap is very narrow in the Big 12. But I say all that in the context of all of these teams are still very talented. And you saw that with ASU last year, coming out of nowhere, making the college football playoff and taking Texas into those multiple overtimes, a game that arguably many people would say Arizona State should have come out victorious. The Big 12, hopefully this year, you got to have some horses that separate, move up in the rankings. Arizona State starting at 11. If they can get off to a hot start, climb into the top 10, kind of buoy another couple schools with them, hopefully the Big 12 can get kind of more of that national respect that you see in SEC or a Big 10 get. It would be great if things went according to plan for the conference, if they could get multiple playoff teams, but that is a bridge we will cross later in the season, because this is just week 1. We are celebrating college football being back. We will have live coverage. I will be out live at Mountain America Stadium tomorrow, starting in the 5 o'clock news for pregame coverage of ASU and NAU, and tonight after the Baylor-Auburn game on Fox 10.